before I'd heard about webtoons for the first time. I'd never read a comic in my life. Honestly, I had never used comics or comic books or online comics or anything. Once I heard of webtoons and I actually started reading them, I found myself really enjoying it. I do like to read fiction books, so I do enjoy a good story being told. Maybe this is why I've enjoyed webtoons so much, because it's a new and innovative style of storytelling. A lot of the stories that I've read, they're so culturally dense, demonstrating, different cultural elements and just telling a good story.
Seen globally via the internet in a commercially growing market.
Intervention of daily life is about interesting episodes in our daily life. It's about things that happen around us. Sometimes it could be interesting, other times not, depending on your perspective and from which angle you view it.
Comic sales have been falling for a while. The arrival of new technology has invigorated the industry. There was a time before the internet when this was the only way you could get your weekly cartoon fix. And while flicking through these pages certainly hasn't lost its appeal, a different type of page is being turned now at the touch of a button. Basic webtoons began as scans of original comic books and put on the net. Now, bespoke original stories formatted for the laptop, tablet and smartphone are all the rage. All around the world, worth $250 million.
For my project, I'm going to focus on one webtoon that I've really enjoyed called Watermelon. So the first thing I noticed when I started reading Watermelon was the drawing. It surprised me because when I had thought of comic books before, I pictured black and white imagery, sort of cartoon style drawings, a lack of colour. I do have to say though, what shook me the most was the intensity of the storyline. It is just brutal, sad, very emotional. Episode 1 of the webtoon was coming across as very deep and serious, and so I started to wonder why it was called Watermelon at all. But then I read the blurb and figured out it was a story about 2 orphaned cat siblings, and so it dawned on me that it was going to be a semi-serious webtoon. Episode 3 of Watermelon begins really heavy. It has me reading through what seemed to be the last words spoken to the main character Yuri by her mum. I get the sense that these words are emphasising the importance of parent-child relationships, emphasising a parent's authority over their children. I can see this in the way that Yuri, the main character, is replaying the words over in her mind. This next scene has me thinking about rejection and a little bit of discrimination. And firstly, blown away that a comic series can have me reflecting on themes as deep as this. And secondly, left wondering if this kind of direct rejection happens in our workforce today. I have a feeling workplace rejection is more indirect, less obvious in Australian society. And so I'm left feeling really sad for Yuri. And also in terms of webtoon content, I think it's really cool the way the author has drawn the scenes so well and is telling the story so empathetically. In looking at cats, as I'm going through this webtoon, cats represent good luck or good fortune in Japanese cultures. Whilst I was researching this, I came across the cat symbol that is Maneki Neko. And so the story of this good fortune cat goes...
Legend says an old woman was so poor that she had to sell her cat. That night in her dreams, her cat appeared to her and told her to make a statue just like her cat. And try to sell it. And so she did. She became rich. Thus, the story of the Good Luck Cat was born.
Reflecting on the story of Maneki Neko and the importance of cats in Japanese society in particular, I started to wonder what representations had I seen of cats through my Western style media content, which brought me to thoughts of Garfield and Cat Dog, both of which are in the comedy genre and so much different to how I've come to see cats depicted in Watermelon. As the story progresses, the main character, Yuri, goes from being an orphaned cat to a cat that is discriminated against because of the things that are different about her. So instead of being this poor orphaned cat, as we saw in the beginning, she becomes a beautiful cat and very appreciated for who she is. And after seeing this story progression, knowing about the story of Maneki Neko, whether it is explicitly related, similar to the story of Maneki Neko, with a poor woman becomes rich and the cat is known as good fortune, the storyline of Watermelon is showing a similar progression in that Yuri begins being a poor orphaned cat and is turning into this beautiful, appreciated, rich character. Another thing that surprised me about webtoons was the way, similar to my TV watching behaviours and movie watching behaviours, the ability I had to binge read webtoons. I think that's a reflection of how I consume and how in Western culture maybe we consume content is we have a tendency to binge on things. And I definitely have done that, while not with Watermelon in particular, because there's not a lot of episodes and you do have to wait week by week. But the way that certain webtoons that had 100+ episodes, I found myself reading within 2 days. So I think the binge watching behaviour can be carried across from the way I consume Western style content to the way I'm consuming webtoons. A final comment on webtoons. I could continue commenting for a very long period of time because I have really enjoyed webtoons so much and I'm glad that I was introduced to them this year. In regards to learning about webtoons through auto-ethnographic research, I was able to become a member of the webtoon community, so I felt a part. The minute I downloaded the app, I felt a part of the community. Researching auto-ethnographically, I was able to be reflexive, and as you've seen throughout this video, I've been able to reflect on what I know and parts of my culture. I've been able to relate that to webtoons. Through this video and through my social media, I've been present in the research, expressing how I'm learning, how I've been interpreting the subject and the themes of Watermelon. I have been able to have a dialogue through this digital artifact and again through my social media. From the beginning, I was committed to analysing webtoons and the content I encountered in a way that would inform others, and I hope that my research and my video is able to inform others of webtoons and hopefully encourage others to give webtoons a go because they are great. I've really enjoyed them.